This is Trashy Tips and Stuff, and today, tables with Pgfplotstable. This is the freeze frame, look at it in your own time, and now we're in the browser. I have opened Overleaf again because Overleaf is cool if you have never done LaTeX before, and I've done a video on it already. So we're going to start off by importing a package with the command \use package. The name of the package is Pgfplotstable, just type it out. And if you use Pgfplotstable in order to just avoid errors and complaints from the compiler, just put in the extra line Pgfplotset compatibility to 1.17. I think that's the most current version. It'll just help you out in the long run. I don't actually know what it does, to be honest. And now we have a CSV file for which no preview exists. Overleaf, please implement that. CSV files are pretty basic data files, something. And we've created this CSV file in a previous video as well. You'll be able to look at another CSV file later. But for now, we're just going to start off with creating a table by typing begin table. The H stands for create the table here because we don't want to have it somewhere else. We want to have it right there. And now you have to spell correctly Pgfplotstable typeset. Start that with a / because that's the way LaTeX commands work. And we'll leave the arguments, which are in the square brackets, empty. And within the curly brackets, we'll type in arguments.csv, which is the name of the file in which our data is stored. You see that it kind of looks ugly, but that's because the compiler does not know how to parse or read the file. If we add in that the columns are separated by a comma, which is typical for CSV files, it's structured in the correct manner. However, the first column, which consists of text, so strings, no number, is not formatted properly. It will just say that it's not a number, which is right because it has text there and no numbers. So we're going to type in columns month.style, and we're going to add the style that this is a string type, and now it is going to format well. You'll see my mouse, it has just highlighted the fact that you need to add in commas after each of the lines, with an exception of the very last line within the arguments. That's just the way the arguments are handled here. We're going to add in another style decision because this is not fancy enough for me. For every head row, so essentially the first row, we're going to add a new style, meaning that before the row, we're going to add a horizontal line, and after the row, we'll add a horizontal line, and it will look like this, which I think is quite nice. Now we're going to center this, add in a caption. The caption will be something like, what a beautiful table, or look at this beautiful table. Yeah, I didn't stick to my script, but I did write a script this time. We're going to compile. I don't know why I cut out the part where I look at the compile document and skipped the compile and didn't cut out the compilation. I'm not good at editing stuff yet. So now I opened the CSV file in the terminal and copied it into the browser. There's very many sophisticated methods of doing it, and I just did it by selecting and right-clicking because that's the pleb I am. Now, we're going to begin a table. We're going to leave in the centering part because now you know how that's done. And now we want to do an inline table. So now we're not taking in data from an external document, such as arguments.csv, but we're going to have the data within this LaTeX document. So the data will be the data that I just copied in that you see right there. We're going to use the command Pgfplotstable read, and in the arguments, we're going to write column separator commas, or in the short form colsep equals comma, and only the short form will be accepted. I don't know why I said it in the long form, just write colsep comma, and within the curly brackets, you need to put in the data. Now I'll just copy in the style directions that we gave the compiler earlier. You see that something's highlighted in yellow. That's because I forgot a comma or a closing bracket, and the overleaf is just complaining. And now I'm adding in this closing bracket, and it works. And I wrote that this tutorial is over when in fact it's far from over, because now we have an error. Now, I could have cut this out, I really probably should have, but I decided to leave it in its full glory because looking for an error in LaTeX is very, very difficult. Overleaf is quite kind of nice in that regard because it gives you detailed error messages to some extent, and it actually shows up in red, and it might help you sometimes. For example, there's going to be an X where it assumes that there's an error, but that doesn't mean you actually know what the error is. However, luckily, most of the time, the issue is just that you misspelled something. And here's me searching for my typo. A very common typo with PGF, pretty much anything, is that you write PFG because F and G are quite close on most keyboards. And just keep an eye out for that. It compiles nicely, and we should all be happy. Thank you for watching it, and this tutorial is actually over now. Thank you.